Hey, what's up? What's up? What's up? Hey, those of y'all that reached out and sent me a message or made some comments, man. Look, I really appreciate y'all's support, on doing this. And my topics may get random, but I think there's a method behind the madness. It's not my method. It's just the madness that the Lord has laid on my heart. So last night, I didn't get much sleep last night, man. We had men and ladies, sorry. Had a lot of things going on in my mind. We made a pretty good deal last night. At least we think it's going to be a pretty good deal. We're going to close that deal today. I'll post some pictures of it later. But I really couldn't sleep, man. I just had lots of things running through my head. And, I've talked some about, me being ungrateful for the good things that happened in my life. You find myself standing in the wake of something good, not something destructive or negative, and I, asking, how could this be? It's just not enough, but I also want to take the opportunity to put in perspective how grateful I am, for my family, for my kids, for my wife, and the things that we're currently going through. Life has a way of kind of beating you into submission if you let it, and it's a lot easier to be done without the grace and guidance of the Lord. I hate when people start these cliches of when bad things happen to people. Oh, the Lord won't ever give you more than you can handle, and that would be true, man. That just, gosh, it's so cliche. It's like just trying to take a generic band-aid and applying it to a gunshot wound. Okay, I get it. The Lord's not gonna give me more than what I need, what I can handle. But sometimes that doesn't necessarily help. And what I'm beginning to realize is everything we've been through up till now has been the preparation for now. All right. So if anybody has read any of our posts, and mainly Angie's posts, so you'll tell a unique difference in my post and Angie's post. We share a Facebook account. Hey, look, I think that's a pretty positive thing, to be honest with you. We're one entity, we got one account. Nobody should be messaging my wife or myself without my wife being privy to that, or vice versa. But anyways, another story, another day. But anybody that's read her posts, they're uniquely different. She's not as long-winded as I am. She's much more deliberate and to the point, but equally elegant in the way she speaks and the way she types. But if you read any of her posts here recently, I believe her last post was actually about baby Diesel. So we got a new baby on the way. We decided to name him Diesel with a Z. There's a story behind that. Our company's trademark is baptizing Diesel, and we just really thought it was fitting to name our son Diesel. It kind of really fits into where we're at in our life right now. But the post goes on to talk about genetic testing. So we have been high risk in basically every pregnancy that we've had, and we had some preliminary genetic testing done, and it comes back some anomalies on or inconsistencies on the genetic profile. So what does that mean? It can mean a lot of things. And there surely is a risk with our age and having children of Down syndrome, right? We've got a lot of people that have reached out and said, we support you guys, we're praying for you, and we're praying for the baby, and other stuff. And other people that have gone through similar circumstances of having a child with Down syndrome have reached out, hey, you really need to feel this. Really good advice. But I'm going to tell you something. And it's really, about being able to speak to people and understanding what people need, right? And I talked to Angie for a while about me doing this video. Well, look, here's the deal. We can have more genetic testing done. And it actually they take a needle and they'll stick it in the in the belly of my wife, and they'll pull amniotic fluid out, and they'll do testing that will confirm 100% or 99.999% of the chromosomal state of the baby. But what it does is it automatically jumps up the possibilities of miscarriages up to, I think 1 in 80 or 1 in 300 or something like that. It significantly increases the odds for miscarriage. So my wife and I are discussing it, and really there wasn't even a question in my mind, and Angie as well. We were like, no more testing. You know, we're not going to endanger our baby or risk it anymore. For what? For our own mental well-being, I guess. And what is it? What is it going to prepare you for? You know, and then people might debate back and forth and all that stuff, but it's just not worth it to us to risk our baby's life. And I'm completely okay with the risk of the baby having Down syndrome. Like, I'm serious. It doesn't bother me at all. You know, at a point in my life, I definitely couldn't have said that. You know, because I thought, I mean, that's one of the most terrible things that could happen. You know, and I believe God prepares everybody, if you'll let Him, for what's coming. Okay. And it didn't hit me until our first ultrasound. And at this point, we don't know anything. You know, we always know there's risk of chromosomal issues with our pregnancies, just because, again, the age. We're high risk every time. And God was preparing me. God was preparing me for the last 10 years. So we go in there, and there's 2 ultrasound technicians. There's one that's in training, and there's one that is obviously the trained one that's doing the training. And what they do is they run through your previous pregnancies. And it hit me like a ton of bricks. Look, what they do is they, by date, I'm gonna read it to you. This is what they said. February 2010, pregnancy. Yes. Ended in miscarriage. Yes, that actually ended on the last few days that Angie and I saw each other before I went to Iraq. She miscarried. She was miscarrying as I was leaving. That's one. September 2010, ended in miscarriage. December 2010, ended in miscarriage. And these are the ultrasound technicians reading this to us, and you could feel their emotion. They're like, they at this point they don't want to read anymore. And we're like, yeah, that was another miscarriage. It said March 2011, miscarriage. And we're like, yeah, it's another miscarriage. That's 4. And it said April 2012, live birth. Absolutely, let's cash more. You know, and at this point, like, I'm starting to tear up. And they go May 2013, miscarriage. Yeah, miscarriage. It said February 2015, live birth. Yep, that was Raylan. That was little Raylan. And then now, this pregnancy. So this is our 8th pregnancy, and we have 2 children. A 3rd on the way. You know, God has prepared me and my wife for the state of, it doesn't matter what comes out. It doesn't even really matter the condition that it comes out. It matters that we are very grateful for whatever we receive. I have no problem with it having Down syndrome. In fact, I consider it a great honor. I consider it an honor that the Lord would bestow such trust in myself and my wife, for such a special human being, if that is the case, you know. And if it's not, that's fine too, you know. At this point, I'll take whatever the Lord gives us. But I will tell you this, men, from this experience, all those miscarriages, there's a lot of missteps that I made. You know, miscarriages, even we had 5 deaths. We had 5 babies pass away. And I encourage you, if your wife has ever gone through a miscarriage or going through a miscarriage, or you ever do experience that, the man's got to be very, very sensitive to the climate and the situation. So I wasn't. You know, my wife was a very strong person, and I was just kind of chalked it up to, she's all right. It's not that big of a deal. It's just a miscarriage, but you didn't have a baby, right? Man, I was so far off. You know, it got frustrating probably on the really frustrating for me on the 3rd one, and we done bought a crib, and we came home, and Angie told me this in this past year. She said it was the first time that she was satisfied with my response. So I stormed in the house, and I was angry. I was so angry you know, we're trying to have a child so badly, and we miscarried for the 3rd time, and we bought this beautiful crib, and I just started ripping the crib apart. And then she's like, what are you doing? I was like, I just don't want to look at it. I don't want to think about it. You know, I'm tired of this, you know. And and she said she was satisfied. Internally, she was just a little bit happy. And you know, the deal was that up until that point, I basically showed no emotion about the situation. I went to work, and honestly, I told Angie too, I got tired of people saying, hey man, we're really sorry about your miscarriage. I know you're sorry. I'm sorry. I don't want to talk about it anymore. But from the man's point of view and the man's perspective on that, you know, we just kind of try to put it, it's not our body. You know, it's not our body. It's not what we're going through. Our wives cannot get away from that when they're going through the miscarriage. It's 100% on their mind at all times, even when they go back to work. You know, it's a mourning process that I think a lot of our society just doesn't really know how to cope with. And I think a big problem with our society and dealing with those type of issues like miscarriages and whatnot is we really kind of just expect the women to deal with it. You know, a lot of times, especially in history's past, you know, it was always perceived there was something wrong with a woman if they miscarried. So everybody kept it very, very quiet. Hey, let's not talk about that, you know. And again, it's like, you know, we talked about on the being judgmental thing. If you haven't been through something like that, it's just really hard for you to understand, you know. And I'm not saying don't give people your condolences on that stuff. I'm telling you, as a husband, from a husband's perspective, man, you might have to dig a little bit. It might get a little messy. But you're going to have to figure out what's going on inside your wife's mind. They're going to tell you they're okay. They're going to tell you you're okay. But I'll tell you this. A piece of you and her passed away in her body. It died. You didn't get to have a formal funeral. You didn't have the proper closure with that. It's a tough thing. It's a real tough thing. Man, locking that stuff up inside, it eats you up. It's cancer. You know, at that point, really, nobody's done you wrong, per se. You know, lots of reasons why miscarriages happen, and honestly, you don't ever want to hear any of the reasons. You just don't want to freaking hear about it. I didn't want to hear about it. I don't want to hear about it. You know, the doctors would try to minimize it, and they'd be like, well, maybe there's something wrong with the baby. And we're like, we didn't care if there's anything wrong with the baby. Stop telling us that. You know, we want the baby regardless. You know, that's the way we felt about it. You know, understanding somebody's mental position before you really offer advice or try to lessen the blow is really, really important, in my opinion. But I'm going to tell you this to the husbands, and mainly that's who I'm talking to, because that's the only people I can really identify with, is, man, take care of your wife. You know, if you're going through something like this, man, there's things that we just don't understand, but you got to make sure they understand that we're there for them, and that we are grieving with them. You know, that's something that's really taught me a lot about being married, is like, it doesn't matter what each one of you are going through, because both of you are supposed to be going through it together. And I completely wrote her off in a lot of those instances on the miscarriages by me just going back to work. I'm like, all right, girl, pat you on the butt. Hey, you're good, right? You good? You sure? Yeah, I'm sure. I'm good. Hey, but look, you know, if anybody ever needs to talk about something like that, man, that's some heavy stuff. That is some heavy stuff. Look, Angie's a great resource for that. She's explained a lot of things to me on how she felt at that point in her life, and the many different times that it had happened. And hey, I help some guys out too. You know, every woman, every person is different on how they react, but I can definitely tell you what things not to do, or how not to do things. And hey, look, and that's something that kind of bothered me about the miscarriages as well. I'm not trying to make it about me. But, you know, I kind of felt like my feelings about it were really discounted. Kind of my own fault, because I just kind of pushed it aside and, man, talk about it. But, you know, that is a very traumatic experience for a couple. I mean, you know, I'm not going to say it's equally traumatic for the man. It just depends on how each take it and all that stuff. But it is traumatic. Nobody in the relationship should be discounted about their feelings at that point, about what's going on. But look, like I said, Angie's a really great resource. If anybody knows anybody or is going through something, or maybe you got some pent-up feelings about some miscarriages or some things that have happened, I would really encourage you to reach out to Angie. And you know, the guys, you're always welcome to reach out to me. You know, I'm not saying that that we can solve your problems, man, we sure can give you a shoulder to cry on and offer you some empathy opposed to sympathy. And I think that's something that I struggled with during that process, is a lot of sympathy got given out, and that's okay. You know, that's not anything against anybody else. Really, empathy is what really kind of gets you through something like that. And we'll talk about the differences between sympathy and empathy, and each have their place in our lives. But we'll talk about that later. But hey, look, I just wanted to put that out there. May not be anything for anybody, I don't know. I was thinking about that last night, and I was just thinking about, it doesn't matter, you know, as long as this little baby Diesel comes out of the womb, and you know, if it's got Down syndrome, I ain't got no problem with that, man. I think we'll be blessed. I got 2 strong boys. They're gonna be good big brothers to little baby Diesel, no matter how he comes out. So hey, look, we love y'all. We thank y'all for y'all's prayers, and we really thank all your kind comments. But I did want to let y'all know that we're okay, and we're gonna be okay as long as that baby comes out. We'll be okay no matter what. But that's the main thing we want, is just a baby. All right, guys. Peace. Love y'all.